second speaker for the affirmative is Heather Roy.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. Heather Roy, mother of 5, with 56 education years of experience. That's not counting early childhood or tertiary. I haven't got any flash educational qualifications, but in fact the fact that I'm a mother is the thing that best qualifies me to stand here and talk about the fact that New Zealand should implement a system of education vouchers. Why? Because I know my children. I've known them for longer than anybody else, and I know them better than anybody else. John Minto has never met my children. Grant Robertson hasn't visited all the schools in Wellington to investigate which one is best for my children. And Arthur Graves doesn't know that I've taken 2 of my children out of schools where they weren't doing well and moved them to schools where they're doing much better now, thank you very much, because I had the choice to do that. Sadly, that choice doesn't exist for far too many New Zealand parents. No, these 3 men know nothing of my children, but they sit over here on my left-hand side, snug in the knowledge that they think that they know best, that they know what's best for my children and all other New Zealand children. They'll tell you that state schools are the best. They'll tell you how the nearest school to you is best for your children. And that's why zoning is important, you know? They'll tell you that we're on the affirmative team only like private schools. They'll sit over here and look me up and down, knowing that I'm a member of Parliament, conclude that I'm rich, and say that all my kids have gone to private schools. Well, wrong, 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 and wrong. Wrong on every count. I have 2 children at independent schools and 3 children at state schools. Why? Because I know my children best, and they've each of them gone to the school that best suits them. No 2 children are the same, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why one-size-fits-all education just doesn't work. I had a bizarre experience when enrolling one of my children at a school a couple of years ago. We had the interview. I was very impressed by the principal, but when it was time to leave, the principal stood up, shook my hand, and said to me, "Thank you very much for choosing a state school." Now, what was that about? Thanks very much for choosing a state school? As if it was a booby prize, the worst of the options. As if I'd fallen on hard times or something. Thank you for choosing a state school. I looked the principal in the eye and I said, I haven't chosen a state school. I've chosen the school that's best for my child. That principal should have been proud of the school that they were heading. They should have said, "Congratulations, Mrs. Roy, you've chosen a great school for your child." That's what's gone wrong with education in this country, ladies and gentlemen. The state is getting in the way of great. I went to the supermarket yesterday. Mothers do that sort of thing too. I took my vouchers to get 10 cents off my can of baked beans. Off I went. We ended up in the breakfast cereal section. I had my youngest child there, who's at a great state school too, and so I got him to count them. He can do that, he's quite numerate. 42 breakfast cereals to choose from. Now I've got a question for these 3 men over here on my left. Why does the state, and them I presume, trust me to choose breakfast cereals for my children, or washing powder, or any number of products, but not the school that I want my children to go to? Why isn't school choice the norm for something as crucial as our children's education? Our critics prefer state monopoly and state control over parental choice and diversity. Sadly, Mr. Minto's never heard of diversity or the fact that vouchers or scholarships might actually lift the educational standard. They over here use the term vouchers to demean the value and the importance that we place on education. Education is the key to long-term prosperity. Education is the greatest gift we can give our children. But right now, we're failing our Kiwi kids. By the government's own admission, Chris Carter said this in Parliament the other day, 40% of our children leave school unable to read a bus timetable.